is Evan Goudey, and I am me.
Alright, man. Let's get cracking. How old are you?
I am 21.
21.
Yes.
When's your birthday?
August 19th, 2001.
So you just turned 21.
Recently, yeah.
Yeah, within the past 6 months or so, 9 months. Nice. What do you do?
I am a musician, but I work an everyday job at Food Line in James City.
So you're a musician. Do you have any specific instrument that you play, any special skill, or do you play a little bit of everything?
I am an electric guitar player. I can play both electric and acoustic, but electric guitar is my personal favorite. Can't play anything else, sadly, but guitar is definitely my thing.
Nice. What's the very first memory you can remember?
The very first memory I can remember is probably getting bathed in the sink at our old house in Beaufort. I remember getting just the baths from my mom and stuff. I probably was like 2 or 3, but I can recall those in the very back of my mind from the very early days. So that is my first memory that I can recall.
What would your dream job be?
My dream job would be touring, a touring musician, going on the road, playing for people, just sharing my talent with the world, being able to go play arenas of 5,000, 10,000 people. That would be my absolute dream job. Wouldn't rather do anything else.
Okay, so if you were given a phone call Monday morning, and it was a management offer that said, we want you to open up for these 2 bands, what other 2 bands would you want to be on that bill?
That's a good one. I'm trying to think of 2 that would make sense to be together, but probably Joe Bonamassa and Kingfish, Christone Kingfish Ingram, probably like a blues orientated type thing. Yeah.
Very cool. Is there a dream that you've had that was so intense that you still remember it today?
There's a couple, but probably the farthest back one that I can remember, I think I was 7 or 8. I had a dream that I fell from the top of the Cape Lookout Lighthouse, and it was just so real to me at the time that I woke up in a dead sweat. I was screaming when I woke up because it just felt so real. That's something that I've never forgotten. When I have dreams normally, they don't really stay in my mind for too long, but that is one that will forever stick because it was just so real and so scary.
Speaking of scary, what's your greatest fear?
My greatest fear? Probably really following a heavy societal norm. I don't like to stick to the norm of society. In ways I do, but my greatest fear would be being like everybody else, probably.
Prefer to stand out a little bit?
Yeah, I like to stand out. I never want to be like anyone else. I want to be me. I want to be Evan,
Do you have any irrational fears?
Define irrational.
Things that you're afraid of, but they don't make any sense to you.
Spiders. I shouldn't be afraid of spiders, but every time I see one, I get 10 feet away real quick. Or snakes. I hate snakes. Can't stand snakes. I should be the man who, will go cut one's head off and be fine, but, I'm not. I'm getting as far away as possible if I see either one, so.
Do you remember the first pet you ever had?
The first pet I ever had was my mom's dog, Blue Phoenix. Just good old hound dog. You know, as houndy as they come, man. He was, I think, like 7 or 8 when I was born. My mom's dog for years and years. He lived for maybe like 4 to 5 years of my life, and then he passed away. But that was my first actual childhood pet that I remember. Awesome dog, great dog, rest in peace.
Very cool. Do you have any hobbies?
Um, Music, definitely. I mean, that's a obvious big one with me. Music, playing guitar. Outside of that, I love food. I mean, I love to eat. I love to eat, man. It almost doesn't matter what it is, but I love to eat. Sports is a huge hobby. I played basketball in high school and middle school. That was my original dream job, was to be an NBA player and all that. Um, those are definitely my hobbies. I still keep in tune with all those.
Do you know how to cook?
I am a horrible cook. That is one thing that I should really know how to do right now, and I am a terrible cook. I can make some stovetop stuff, some basic things. I am actively trying to learn, but I am a horrible cook. Horrible. And, I will admit that.
What's your favorite book that you've read?
My favorite book? The Giver. The Giver. That was a really good book. I read that in, I think, 8th grade, and that was a fantastic book to me. I wasn't huge into books ever, but that was one book that I really read all the way through, and I loved it, and I absorbed it.
Is there anything basic or commonly done by other people that you can't do?
Cook. Cook, or, that's really all I can say is cook. I mean, yeah, definitely cooking, probably.
Do you remember the first kiss you ever had?
The first kiss I ever had? Ooh, that's hard, man. I'm sure I had a few in elementary school, but the first kiss I can remember was in middle school on the last day of 7th grade, I think it was. There was a girl that I had a huge crush on at the time, and the last day of school I kind of just like came up to her as everything was dismissed and we were going for summer break, and I snuck her to the side, and I just kind of like, I tried to say something to her, and she turned towards me, and I just stuck one on her real quick. Horrible of me to do that, but, that was the first kiss that I can remember.
Let's see. What is your proudest moment so far?
Proudest moment so far? Probably teaching myself how to play an instrument. It's definitely something that I didn't really think I was ever going to do. I tried to back when I was like 9 or 10, but I didn't get on with it at all, and I stopped. And then I just picked it back up about 5 years ago now. I didn't think I would get very far with it, but to look at the progress that I've made and where I am now, that is probably definitely my proudest moment. I guess you could call it a moment. It's more of a proudest thing, being able to play an instrument. Yeah, definitely.
What's the worst job that you've had so far?
That's a real good one too. Probably bussing tables. It's a good way to get into working, but depending on where you work at, it's not worth it in my opinion. No offense to all my restaurant people who are watching this. I respect you 100%, but bussing tables was probably the worst for me.
Is there something that you want to accomplish before you die?
I'm trying not to keep it away from music, but going on tour, definitely in any kind of capacity, going on tour, and being able to play some amphitheaters or arenas, maybe even a stadium. Probably not, but maybe even a stadium. Being able to go on tour and play guitar in a band setting on tour, definitely. 100%.
What's your happiest memory?
Happiest memory? Like a soul memory? Like one soul memory? That's really hard too, man. Probably when I met my current fiance. That's probably my favorite memory. That day was my favorite memory. That was a great day. It forever will be a great day, no matter what happens in life. That was probably my favorite memory so far. Is that?
Very cool. Are you enjoying your experience so far?
100%. Keep it coming, man. I love it. Yeah.
Alrighty. What do you think is the meaning of life?
The meaning of life. A lot of people seem to think that. Well, a lot of people interpret it in different ways. My way is kind of. It sounds kind of selfish what I'm going to say, but really the meaning of life at the end of the day is to do the best you can for yourself and make yourself happy. Yes, you can make other people happy, but really just to do well for yourself and make yourself happy, and to be good to other people too, because it does come back to you. Probably that, yeah.
Very cool. Do you believe in ghosts or the paranormal?
I do believe in ghosts, yes. Just because of like two experiences I've had that it seemed kind of real to me. When I was younger, I didn't really know much about it. I watched, a couple of movies that were like cartoonish, where it's got a ghost in a white cloak running around. But as I got a little bit older, I was like, BS, no way. But then I had a couple of experiences that changed my perspective on that, and I definitely believe in ghosts, yes. hmm
Have you ever... Well, yeah. Do you have any bad habits?
Bad habits. Probably eating food that's really bad for me. Really bad for me. I mean, you throw a pizza at me, it's gone. You throw some buffalo chicken at me, done for. That or listening to heavily guitar-orientated music is another bad habit of mine.
Is there somewhere special that you want to go or see in person?
Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in Ohio, definitely. That would be probably the main one. As a kid, I always wanted to go to Canada for some reason, so I think that would still be a really cool one. Either the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame or going to Toronto probably would be that would be it for me.
Is there is there something special that you've always wanted to do, see, or experience? Like you always wanted to go on a cruise, or you wanted to go skydiving?
I've always wanted to fly first class. Never probably will that happen, but I've always wanted to fly in one of those crazy fancy $10 million private jets. That or I don't know, probably that. Or if I could travel back in time, I would go to Woodstock '69, I believe, and see Hendrix and the Star Spangled Banner and that whole thing. That would probably be the best answer I can give you for that one.
Well, speaking of time travel, if you could live in any time, in any place, when and where would it be, and why?
Mm. Dang, that's a good one. Probably the 60s. The 60s in London probably, or in the UK. That's when a lot of the music was coming up then. The Beatles were huge everywhere, but in the UK they were big. Eric Clapton was coming up with Cream. Hendrix came into the UK in the late '60s, and you could see all those guys for like $10 or $15. I mean, it's just kind of nuts to me. I mean, if it's a no-brainer, I would go to the '60s for sure. Definitely, yeah.
Very cool. What do you think life will be like in 500 years?
500 years. If we are all not extinct, I think the technology will be super advanced. Obviously, it's rapidly advancing already, but flying cars, I don't even know what kind of computers there will be anymore. Flying cars, like cyber cities and stuff like that. Some crazy, skyscrapers are going to be um, super advanced looking. Um, just all the structures and stuff are going to be super advanced. It's just going to be super futuristic. If the world is still here in 500 years, it's going to be super advanced. There's a movie I'm trying to think of that it looks like in my head, but I just can't remember what it's called. But it's just super futuristic everywhere. That's probably, yeah, definitely like that. I'd imagine at least. I could be wrong.
I like that one. What did you want to be when you were a kid?
When I was a kid, when I was younger, like younger, kind of wanted to be a firefighter. I mean, I feel like there's a lot of kids who probably wanted to be that, but I wanted to be a firefighter when I was like 6 or 7. And then I got into my race car driver thing. I wanted to be a NASCAR driver. I liked NASCAR a lot when I was younger. And then in high school, it was an NBA player, a basketball player. Yeah, that's probably what it was as a kid.
Very nice. What's the most amazing thing that you've witnessed?
The most amazing thing that I've witnessed. Mm. Probably seen the Red Hot Chili Peppers in person. It's my favorite band of all time. And we saw them in Charlotte in September at the Bank of America Stadium. That's probably the coolest thing I've ever seen. I mean, it was a culmination of 6 or 7 years of hardcore listening to them and idolizing their guitar player, John Frusciante, and getting to see that lineup actually and see them it was the coolest thing. It was the coolest thing ever. Definitely.
If you had to give a message to future generations, what would it be?
Be as educated as you can. Be as educated as you can. Be kind. Be smart. Just look out for yourself. Definitely look out for yourself, because at the end of the day, aside from who's around you, all you have is yourself. So just make sure you look out for yourself. Stay educated. Be aware of your surroundings.
Do you believe in extraterrestrial life?
No, I don't think so. I don't know exactly, but I don't think so. I don't. I'm not there. Maybe now, but no. I feel like if I was born in like the '60s or something, or the '50s, then I probably would. Nowadays, yeah. Area 51 is a big question mark for me. I'm not sure what's there. I've heard lots of different things, but since I've never seen anything, I can't say that I do. Everyone talks about these UFOs and stuff, and there has been some weird things in the sky circulating everywhere, yes, but until I see it with my own 2 eyes, I'm going to have to say no.
Alright. Who's your favorite historical figure and why?
My favorite historical figure? That's really hard. I don't know. I'm trying to think. I mean, there's a couple I could say, but probably shockingly Martin Luther King Jr. because of how revolutionary he was. His movement, everything about him, just pure awesome. I feel like there's a lot of people out there that can agree with me on that. And, I believe that that's definitely probably my favorite historical figure just because of how revolutionary he was and how much he did.
What's the first film you can remember watching?
First film I can remember watching? Scooby Doo. Something. Well, okay, cartoon wise, Scooby Doo, but movie wise, um, The Grinch. The Grinch. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I watched The Grinch when I was like 4 or something like that. Like, I mean, it was a long time ago. I'm pretty sure it was The Grinch. Yeah. That's the first that I can remember watching as a kid, which I don't even know if I really should have watched that. It's not horrible, but it's just kind of nasty for a kid, probably. So,
What's the first song you can remember hearing?
first song I can remember hearing. That's a really good one. I'm gonna have to think for a second on that. I don't know what it's called. It's that I see clouds of blue. Dun, dun, dun.
What a Wonderful World.
Yeah,
Louis
yeah.
Armstrong.
When I think to myself, what a wonderful world. That's the first song I can remember hearing. Oddly enough.
As a music fan, I've always been a fan of movie soundtracks because it's like fans are put in charge of them sometimes when you listen to the songs that are on there, and it's like your own little greatest hits album.
Hmm.
If you had to pick one movie soundtrack that would be your favorite, you could listen to it every day, what soundtrack would that be?
Probably James Bond or the Pink Panther. The James Bond movie soundtrack, I believe, there was a guitar player that I learned about 2 or 3 years ago named Vic Flick who did the session work on that. Had a super famous guitar that played on many records, but he was on that, and I remember listening to that soundtrack after that, purposefully because of that, and it's just so, it's cool to me. I'd have to pick that, or the Pink Panther, the definitely one of those two I would choose. They're interchangeable.
Very cool. Alrighty. Pick a number, 1, 2, or 3.
3.
3 it is. So, we're going to do a word association game.
Okay.
I'm going to say a word, and you say the first word that pops into your head.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah.
Phone.
Call.
Tall.
Short.
Wild.
Nuts.
Drive.
Distortion.
Air.
Tire.
Parrot.
Cacaw.
Computer.
Type.
Music.
Guitar.
Candle.
Flame.
Story.
Book.
Moon.
Sun.
Ocean.
Waves.
Monument.
Washington.
Island.
Jamaica.
Below.
Underneath.
Spear.
Circle.
Suit.
Tie.
Table.
Chair.
Sky.
Dive.
Street.
Cheeseburger.
Bonus.
Additional.
Summer.
Fall.
Feast.
Thanksgiving.
Party.
Lame.
Complete.
Whole.
Excellent.
That was a good one.
That's all my questions, man.
Okay. Thank you for having me. Everyone, follow Casper Luna, Spotify, Facebook, everything. You can find us. Also, quick shout out. I have a band named E Squared, the band. Not East Squared, East Square, E Squared. You can find us on Facebook if you just look up E Squared, and then we are on Instagram at E Squared the Band NC. Please look out for us. Thank you for having me. This has been great. Peace out.
Excellent. Sneaky little fucker. And I'm gonna put that in the video too. I did not prompt him, though I do endorse this message.